Padres off day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Philadelphia. And there's a whole bunch of questions we're going to talk about as they get ready to walk into Citizens Bank Park. This will not be an easy weekend for the Padres, but this is a Padres team that has to feel better about itself right now based on 13 base hits against Philadelphia as they climb back into the series to make it 1-1 going to the East Coast.
Yeah, I mean, the bats came alive. I mean, they were dormant. The only guy who got a hit in game one was Will Myers. But boy, did the guys that AJ Preller traded for, Drury and Bell, and Soto came in with clutch hits, and then of course the Nola matchup worked out in the Padres' favor as well.
The most unique thing to me about what's going on with the Padre batting order is they're not hitting as a team very well, but they have big innings that all of a sudden show up and make a difference. Big innings in the Mets series, a weird big inning in the Dodgers series, strange big inning that just kind of got rolling in the victory over Philadelphia. Not a complete batting order right now, not hitting outside of Manny Machado, but they're still dangerous. And you snap your fingers and say, boy, how come that can't happen more often rather than once every third game?
Yeah, it's like we trade for these home run hitters and they get to San Diego and they turn into Chris Denorfia, and they struggle to hit. There's no power. I mean, Bell, Soto, Drury were just killing it. And that's why Preller traded for them. And they come here and they just become a completely different hitter. Are they trying too hard? I think that's what Josh Bell was saying.
I think there's a lot of pressure on these guys, and I think that's one of the pieces of the equation. I also think the ballpark, John, before we talk about statistics, the ballpark plays really differently day versus night. And I'll throw you a historical footnote. I remember the first weekend the Padres were in Petco Park, first time ever, played the Giants. And Barry Bonds hit 6 balls that I thought were gone. They got caught at the warning track. Now, the dimensions were much deeper the first year the Padres played. Dimensions stayed that way for a group of years. And I thought to myself, holy cow, this is going to be hard for guys to hit the ball out. Well, they brought the fences in and they've changed the outfield arrangement to a degree. But I do think the atmospherics at Petco have changed. Maybe it's got something to do with all the buildings that have been built around, all those hotels that have changed the wind flow. And obviously humidity and daytime sunshine versus nighttime cool air has really changed the dimensions or the dynamics of how to hit at Petco Park. So I think that's a strange item. Let's look at these stats. Padres are still playing baseball, despite the fact, John, they're hitting 233 as a team in postseason.
Wow.
233. But then again, nobody else is hitting. I think the collective batting averages of all the teams heading into Friday's game might be 211 in postseason play. So pitchers are dominating. But, Manny is hitting 306 based on the big game that he had on Wednesday. Soto is hitting only 222 in the postseason. Bell is hitting 229, and that's after he had a really big game against Philadelphia. Drury's hitting 158. Will Myers is hitting $115. So it's been really tough on these guys. But then again, they're no different than what happened with the Dodgers, what's happened with the Cardinals, what happened with the other playoff teams that are out of the series. Nobody is hitting.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you get in the playoffs. This is when the top pitchers are shining. They're the ones that have led their team into the postseason. And then all these teams play great defense. And then you've got the shift going on. It's just really hard to kind of get a ball through the hole in the infield. So it makes sense that batting averages are going to be a little low when these pitchers are dominating.
Yeah, really valid point. Batting averages are not low at Citizens Bank Ballpark, where they play Friday afternoon in Philadelphia. I went through, did some research. The Phillies have only played a couple of home games in the postseason because they've been on the road, but they're hitting 313 with 5 bombs in 2 playoff games at home. Philadelphia on the season, team batting average 260. Philadelphia, 107 home runs at home. Philadelphia, 255 extra base hits at Citizens Bank Ballpark. I guess to a degree, that's a pretty good home field advantage.
Yeah, I mean, they call it a bandbox, right? Because it's just easy to jack them out of that park. But you know what? The Padres have got a lot of home run hitters now, too. And so if Bell has figured it out, we've got Drury. I think Myers is probably going to start on the bench. So you got Drury, you got Bell, you got Machado. Cronenworth still hasn't really His power hasn't been there yet. We saw a little bit in the Dodgers series, but the Padres have a lot of upside for power.
Philadelphia stats go into Friday's game. Kyle Schwarber's hit 21 home runs at home this season. Rhys Hoskins has hit 18 home runs at home. JT Realmuto, 12 bombs at home. In terms of batting average, now remember, Bryce Harper missed half the home schedule with the broken thumb. He's only hit 9 home runs, only batting .244 at home. But Bryce Harper, in postseason, now healthy, is hitting the daylights out of the ball. Castellanos hitting just .250 at home. Third baseman Alec Bohm, .292. Second baseman John Segura, .282. And Brad Marsh, who came from the Angels at the trade deadline for some reason, hitting .296 in home games for Philadelphia. Now, Friday pitching matchup, Joe Musgrove against a young guy, Ranger Suarez. Padres have to win on Friday. Joe's got to keep the ball in the yard because Saturday, when we get to game 4, they're going to have to give it to either Mike Clevinger or to Sean Manaea, or both are going to wind up pitching. And I don't know that we can all feel good about where those guys are at this point of the season in terms of being trustworthy on the mound. So Friday's game is huge.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think Musgrove needs to pitch like he did against the Mets. Hopefully they're not checking his ears. But my understanding is that when the Padres went to Philly in May, Clevinger had a really good outing. I mean, he went 5 innings of shutout ball. So if we get that Clevinger, we're in great shape.
Yeah, but that's Clevinger pre-injury issues. That's Clevinger before the knee flared. That's Clevinger before the forearm tendonitis came back. So I don't know that we can equate what happened in spring as to what's going to happen now in late fall. So Friday's game is just hugely critical. Padres, Philadelphia.